Good evening, Fernwood. It's your TV pal Neil, and it's time for some more late night variety madness with another episode of Fernwood Tonight. If you are just seeing my face for the first time, this is a reaction show much like other YouTube reaction shows where we watch the show together, and then much like other reaction shows, we talk about the shows, because that's how it goes. And if that sounds like it's your bag, then please stick around. Also, if you're a viewer who wants to help this channel grow much like other reaction shows, please visit Patreon, where you can get updates for, what's going on with the channel, and early access to episodes and uncut episodes and stuff. We are watching today episode 54 from September 15th, 1977. I'm not going to double check that here, so let's look back. Barth Gimble receives some fan art and other gifts from the audience at home, and then he brings on baby Irene, who performs a rendition of Ball in the Jack before she complains that she is being typecast as a child. Then we meet Linda Berry, who runs a dude ranch and is an advocate for nudism, to the extent that she wants to see Barth and Jerry naked and also everyone in the audience. Then we bring out toy maker Mr. George Ellsworth, who has a line of reality toys, toys that don't encourage fantasizing in the children that play with them. For instance, this teddy bear that has a realistic roar. He shares a dollhouse in which the dolls have very complicated lives, and generally baby Irene does not approve. And that's where we ended our episode yesterday, everyone, so maybe today's episode will be one of which baby Irene would approve.
Tonight from Fernwood Tonight. 30 minutes of very remarkable entertainment coming to you almost live with your host for tonight, Mr. Barth Gimble. Tonight, Barth's guest will be Mr. Vern Taylor, who's bombed on the show before, and tonight we'll do it again. Dr. Matthew Johnston with a solution to your sexual hang-ups. And Happy Kine and the Mirth Makers. And me, I'm Jerry Hubbard. And now your host and mine, Mr. Barth Gimble.
Oh, come on. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening and welcome again to Fernwood Tonight. I'm Barth Gimble. And I'm hearing a lot of questions from you out there in Fernwood, and by that I mean folks in the whole Tri-County area. Questions about the show, questions about me. But you know the question I get asked most often is, Barth, where do you get your shoes? People say there's no place in town where you can get great-looking footwear like you wear on the show. And up to now, they've been absolutely right. I've had to send away to Florida for my shoes, to be honest. That's until Jack Jorgensen down at Jorgensen's House of Men's Clothes got together with me to make available a line of shoes that have a very familiar face and signature inside every heel. Right. And those, of course, would be Barth Gimble shoes. The same snappy-looking kicks you see at the end of my legs every night here on the couch. And beginning Monday, Jack Jorgensen will be holding a week-long Let's Buy Shoes celebration right down in the store with 10% off the normal list price of Barth Gimble shoes for anyone who mentions Fernwood Tonight or says the word hello at some point while they're in the town. Now, if this were a paid commercial, I'd tell you all about the wide range of models and sizes and that one sensible price, $80 a pair, $150 for two. But I prefer to put that cost of advertising right back into my shoes, if you know what I mean. So let me just leave it with you as a friendly reminder, because now there's finally a place where you can have that Barth Gimble feel from toe to heel. I just made that up. Just one more thing. If you'd like to sell Barth Gimble shoes in your clothing store or market, and you're outside a 100-yard radius of Jorgensen's House of Men's Clothes, why not write to Gimble Co. Enterprises, Jobbing Department, Post Office Box 78924, Fernwood, Ohio 45989. Okay, enough about my shoes. Let's move up. Our Fernwood Tonight staff is not only, I guess, more than moderately talented, they are very, very community-minded. And in this community spirit, Happy Kine our band leader, our own Jerry Hubbard, and the Mirth Makers have put together a little show on dental hygiene. They think that's important. I think we all do. They're going to be performing this at elementary schools in the Tri-County area, absolutely free of charge.
What?
Well, at a very small fee. Naturally, because Happy owns a dental franchise operation, he was the perfect man for the job. So here with a preview of their dental pageant entitled Your Teeth Are Your Mouth's Insides, are Happy Kind and the Smile Makers.
Hello, Kitty. I'm Dr. Happy. I'm Dr. Happy from the Happy Kind Dental franchise. 3 offices located in the Tri-County area. Isn't that wonderful? And we're located very conveniently, just minutes away from your throbbing toothaches. Now, you tell your folks about that, will you? And now, open your mouth. Take your finger. And put it in your mouth. Like that. Now, bite real hard. That's right. You know why that hurt? Because you've got teeth. That's why. And that's our topic. This is Mr. Toothbrush.
And I'm Mr. Tooth. Hi, I'm Mr. Tooth Decay. And I'm going to speak to Norman.
If your tooth is strong, it won't be for long when it meets up with Mr. Tooth Decay. He will eat your tooth because he's so uncouth. Pretty soon your mouth will rot away. So if Mr. Tooth Decay eats away with glee, all you'll have left in a couple of years are empty, ugly holes where your teeth should be. But if you use Mr. Brush and you brush a brush, doesn't matter what your size, you will chase away Mr. Tooth Decay with a brush and a checkup at Dr. Happy's Dental franchise. Now tell your folks now, yes, brush a brush and a checkup at Dr. Happy's Dental franchise.
We'll be back in a few seconds with the adult portion of our program. Gee, we're back. How'd you like the little tooth thing? That was pretty nice, wasn't it? Starring our own Jerry Hubbard. Let's have a nice snack for it. Terrific. Jerry, when you first went out there, I wasn't sure what I thought maybe it was going to be Roots once again. We've already had that.
You know, what a costume department we have here. I tried to get a shirt that would fit me. They didn't have it, but they got 12 of these teeth. Everything from a 38 regular to an extra stout.
Right.
Let me take off this. I feel kind of silly.
This is sort of a
Oh, that's better.
kind of a molar you have on today.
That's right, yes. And you know, I really enjoyed that, singing and dancing. Did you ever dance or... you know, can I get serious for just a minute here?
Perfect time, I think.
I know we all have kind of a reason for being in show business, and my hidden dream was always to be in a big Broadway musical. Like some of those greats like Kismet or Kiss Me Kate or Carousel or Oklahoma, one of those big robust roles, and I think this is kind of a start. Happy tells me, and this is the truth, that Gordon McRae worked with him in this same routine many years ago. Yeah.
Right, and then Meredith went on to become a star, so I guess it can work. You had that idea for making Ice Station Zebra into a musical up there at the theater in the Round.
Yeah, but try to get someone interested. Try to get someone who'd seen the darn thing to begin with. And, you know, people don't watch films like that today, and anything inventive like that gets the bums rush.
Yeah, but you were going to get Ernest Borgnine to do it, too. That was going to be great when he was in the original cast.
Yes.
And
yes.
He's a great sport. He shaved his back for that role. I love the tease, Jerry. Jerry, you're a good sport. You know what I want to do? Put some candy on your tooth. Maybe some of it will sink in. The extractors, then. Yeah, I can't do that for you. You're too good a guy.
No, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, boy. But I think we're going to have mice with bad teeth. But I think it did tell a message here, this, and kids keep those teeth clean, and you won't end up looking like this.
Oh, that's very clever. We have guests, too. That's the good part.
I just wondered, every few minutes for people who turn in late, you could just kind of remind them that Jerry was singing and dancing in Happy's Tooth musical, just in case people tune in late and wonder, what the heck is he up to now?
You think they might think you were a jerk or something if I don't explain it? Okay, our next guest is no stranger to Fernwood tonight. His brother's company in Lake Ridge has just been awarded a subcontract to manufacture part of the new neutron bomb. You've been hearing about that everywhere.
Yes, indeed.
Here to tell us about it is Mr. Vern Taylor.
Vern, excuse me if I don't get up. I think I need some deep root canal work over here.
Jerry's a little down in the mouth right now. Vern, exactly what part of the bomb is Andy's company making?
Well, actually, Bart, they're involved in several areas. They'll be making the Excelsior the bomb rests on while in transit, and the labels that go in the box. And Andy's letting me throw in just for fun little expressions like printed on the side of each bomb, or painted on the side of each bomb, like Destination Peking, or Eat This, Pinko.
Yeah.
And my favorite, if you're close enough to read this, you're a dead man.
As sort of an expert, at least in the, as you said before, packaging end, how do you answer this controversy?
Well, anyone can tell you that the neutron bomb is actually very humane, as your average bomb goes. Here you have a bomb that's dropped on a city, but it doesn't blow people to smithereens, and it doesn't rip their commie arms and legs off, doesn't harm one brick on any building. All it does is emit a radiation that eats away their brains. And they have a few violent convulsions and die. What more could you ask of a bomb?
Well, I have to ask you a question. How long does it take for this neutron bomb to, the radiation, to actually kill people?
Well, that's the fun of this baby, Barth. It's always a surprise. Neutron radiation can kill people in a matter of minutes, or in some cases, a couple of weeks.
Okay, one problem I'm thinking about, if you, as you say, it does take sometimes up to 2 weeks to kill the enemy. Some of these enemy soldiers could still be up and around and limber enough or whatever to have a gun and take some pot shots at our boys when they come in.
No, the radiation burns out the enemy's nerves and gives them the shakes. Pow! Pow! Over here. I tell you. And it's pitiful. Sometimes he'll shoot his own men and other times himself.
Does that enemy have any defense whatsoever against, I guess they call it neutron radiation?
Well, nothing short of wearing lead aprons, Bert.
Barth.
Bart.
Bird would be a bet on a train. And,
Boy, I tell you. I get so keyed up on this thing, it's an issue with me, you know.
I know how you feel. Your hat's probably too tight. I guess also, you mentioned that army in lead aprons. I guess they're not going to be the most fleet of foot, are they?
They look like a bunch of sissies, too.
Yeah,
Probably
sure.
kidding each other. And,
Well, it's a humane bomb. I
That's
tell you
great.
that thing, it really is a humane bomb. But I see they're building another one. And this little cookie will seek out and destroy certain nationalities.
I'd have dropped one on Miami Beach during the tourist season there. You get a lot of free hotel rooms, by empty hotel rooms. I'm just joking about that. God forbid anything like that should happen. But you know, a funny thing I just thought of here. When a comedian performs, a bomb kills people, but if he has a bomb, he doesn't really kill anybody. Do you understand what I say? A comedian, if he kills someone, means he does well. But if he bombs, he doesn't do well. It's just a thought I had. But another thing...
It's amazing how you can wrap up a thought and an example into one package.
Right. Now, also, this bomb, it kind of is interesting. I mean, they had to have some way to test it out. Maybe they could build some city away from civilization to give it a test. Anyway, I think they should get going and drop it.
I think we should drop it. I agree with that. Just drop the whole thing, and we'll be right back after these words. Okay. Thank you. We're back. My next guest has recently moved to the Tri-County area from Woodport. I think you know where that is.
No, I don't.
He's involved in a project here that's causing a lot of controversy. Please welcome Dr. Matthew Johnston. Doctor.
Doctor, tell me, do you think I have to come out?
Oh, my kingdom for some Novocaine. Welcome to the show, Dr. Johnson. What is the project that's got everybody so darn worked up?
First, simply, we have opened a sex therapy clinic here in Fernwood.
Wow.
A place where people can go with problems or questions about sex. And before they have any neurosis or any anxieties about it.
Those kind of things develop, too. Certainly kind of a new concept, at least for this area. Can you describe to us and our viewers the treatment you offer?
Well, research has shown that the direct therapist-patient relationship is most effective. Now, we have trained specialists who have come up with ways for all problems.
I'll be darned. How are these specialists, as you call them, chosen?
Well, we go by the patient's instincts. All the therapists come out and they form a line in the lobby, reception room. And the gentleman looks them over and picks his favorite.
Exactly how many therapists do you have, Doctor?
Well, there's Dr. Leslie, there's Dr. Yolanda, there's Dr. Ruby, Dr. Judy, and Dr. Trixie. And the patients, you see, they pick their favorite, and they all go off into the treatment room.
It sounds so cold and clinical.
Oh, no, not at all.
I don't think so, yeah.
The treatment room, and they're not cold at all. As a matter of fact, they are tastefully decorated with various motifs to put the patient at ease. We have the Arabian Nights treatment room with a little motto, we'll get into your mind if you get into our jacuzzi. And then there is the medieval dungeon treatment room. That's where any patient that resists the treatment, they are taken in, chained down, and disciplined by the therapist. Then we have, of course, the Little Red Riding Hood treatment room. And finally, we have the treatment room. That's for the patients who like to play doctor.
How much does this treatment or therapy cost, not counting the room?
That's all included.
That's included, okay. How much is that?
Anywhere from $10 for minor problems to $200 for the deluxe treatment. That's our group therapy class. That's where the patient is treated by two therapists at once.
How often does a patient require a treatment like this?
Well, we find that one session a week works out very well for most single gentlemen. Married ones need 2 to 3.
Married to 3.
Sex clinic sounds like it's a good place for beginners, people just starting out. You know, sex is very much like show business. There's no place to be bad anymore.
I think you did pretty well in that chair there, Jerry. Only kidding. Meant the tooth was going bad, that's all. Doctor, how does a person go about making an appointment? I guess you'd still have to call it an appointment for this therapy.
Well, yes. We have researchers out in the field. They're generally stationed at the bus depot or Capri Lounge. And what they do, they stop passers-by at random, and they give them a verbal questionnaire. And they look at the answers. Now, if the answers reveal emergency treatment, well, then they go directly to the clinic, or depending on the location, they get therapy right on the spot.
It's a terrific service. And you yourself, I understand, go to the people sort of as a human advertising for this sex clinic. Is that right? You have that really crazy car you drive into, don't you?
Well, you mean my hot pink Cadillac. Yeah. Well, yes. I try to be visible for the people so they know where I'm coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm catching your drift quite well. So far, Doc, this is great for the men, but can women with sexual problems get help at your clinic, too?
Hey, of course. I handle the women's problems personally. I've been doing so good with the problems of women that a lot of them have gone on to become therapists within my stable.
The important thing is, of course, is that you provide a service, even though it's a service that I don't use.
I bet you don't.
No.
I mean, you need to.
No, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, sex is a very simple thing. I know it's simple the way I do it.
I'll bet it is.
Well,
terminal case.
no, but sex to me, what?
He said a terminal case, and he can start at the bus terminal, and he has his people.
That's right. And you carry your case out of the bus terminal, too, if you're getting off the
Amazing
bus.
how language can do that.
Yes. But seriously, sex to me is just a sensual and erratic thing.
Erratic? I think you mean erotic.
That could be.
Could mean erratic. Go on, sir. I'd love to hear this. Do you have any more about this?
Well, no, it's just that once you learn, I mean, it's a very simple thing. It's to me, having sex is like falling off a log. It's very easy. I mean, once you learn, you never forget. You go out on a girl with a date, you take her out to dinner, you go on a drive up to Inspiration Point, you let your motor conk out, you know, and then before you know it, you're smooching. Or smooching. It's no, but seriously, you can have some problems. Sometimes if you kiss a girl and you don't come up for breath, you get a little dizzy if you don't breathe, or you kiss too hard and you smash your teeth, or sometimes you kiss and stop too soon and she's disappointed.
Can I tell it?
What? Come on.
You know the kissing thing that happened? All right, Jerry had heard that ladies really like it when you just kind of blow in their ear a little bit.
Oh, don't tell him.
I gotta tell you, Jerry was out. He's at the drive-in movie, and he's trying to get the girl kind of, warmed up. Don't worry. Anyway, he blows in her ear, and he's got a certs in his mouth. He blew too hard. The thing lodged right in her ear. Couldn't get it out.
And once those things start to dry, they stick. So I was putting my finger in further and further. And I won't say she was not an intelligent girl, but it came out the other ear.
Wow, it's a great story. And you're still going with her, right?
Oh yeah, why not? You find a winner, why give it up?
And no one would have ever guessed that she'd like it that much. Every time she says, do the certs thing again. I love it. It's great.
You doesn't have brains, but you don't go up to Inspiration Point to discuss literature, do you?
You don't find Proust at the drive-in.
No, sir.
Well, it's been great talking to you, and I wish you all the luck in the world with your new service. I think it's a marvelous thing you're doing for the people of Fernwood, and we'll be right back after these words. Heard that. We're back, and we're almost done. I have just a few moments here to thank my guests. Vern Taylor, wonderful talking to you. Good luck not only with that bomb and all the work you've done there, but your new job, I understand, Vern is going to be designing shower curtains for a major company up in Akron on the weekends. Using some of the success he had with those cocktail napkins with the design.
Oh, with the funny sayings?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Best of luck with that. Matt, if I may. Is it Matt's okay? Bad Matt Johnson. I think I remember you when you... why do we always say that? We've got him a bad teeth before, which means... But bad Matt Johnson means good. Isn't it crazy? I'd like to thank Jerry Hubbard also for being here. It takes a lot of nerve to get in that outfit, doesn't it? Oh, I can't keep it up. That's it. Good night.
Also appearing on tonight's show were Vern Rowe as Vern Taylor and Tim Reed as Dr. Matthew Johnson.
I'm not uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable. We start with Barth doing a little bit of talking about his fancy shoes. He had some all-white Spectators on that he got from Florida, and apparently that's one of the little dealy bobs where he's comfortable talking about his time in Florida. And then Happy Kind comes out to maybe represent his dental cleaning service with a number dedicated to the tooth and tooth decay and brushing your teeth and all that. And Jerry comes out in the costume that he's going to wear all day long. He is dressed like a molar. And then we bring back Vern Taylor, who is no longer doing his Uncle Sam Jr. bit, but is getting plenty unhinged talking about the neutron bomb and how it's a nice bomb. I mean, I'm paraphrasing there, but that's basically what he says. It's clear that Vern is really jingoistic to the level of just wow. Like, and this was a few years before Reagan came on. Yes, we had been talking about nuclear war for a few years at this point, or for a few decades at this point. Things would escalate more in terms of the consciousness of the country by 1980. Not just the country, I would say internationally, we became quite aware of nuclear threats in the 80s. But that's not to say that we didn't already have a Cold War going on for quite a long time by 1977. It just wasn't quite as conscious as it would be by 1980-81. And then we bring on our final guest, Dr. Matthew Johnson, and I was happy at first because this is one of the handful of black guests we've seen on this show. I would say maybe 5 or 6 at most. I know that we had 3 black actors on Mary Hartman, only one of whom was an actual resident of Fernwood. And this show has done a little bit better in terms of that in its 13 weeks. And it's a little bit of a mixed bag there because he's talking about a sex therapy place. And I also thought in Mary Hartman, there were a few places where sex therapy was part of the storyline. Mary Hartman, of course, looking for so much help with her sexuality, her sex life, and a storyline where she meets up with a sex therapist who is local to Fernwood, who is doing sex surrogacy that Mary Hartman engages in without actually knowing what it is. And there are also a few storylines in Fernwood that deal with various forms of sex work. Early on in the series, one of Kathy's first jobs is getting a job in a massage parlor that she is clearly not comfortable with. And later, we have the storyline with Big Honey. This is an entirely new operation. It doesn't deal with any of the characters we saw in Mary Hartman. And it really plays very clearly, right? It could be most of the things that he says could theoretically be a kind of sex treatment that's therapeutic in its, in a modern therapist kind of way. But the pictures that he paints really remind me very clearly of the images we see of brothels, where all of the women will come out for a man to pick. That's fairly typical brothel sort of imagery going on there. And then the customer will choose the woman that they like and go to a private room to get serviced. And maybe the only icky part is that Matthew Johnson is playing a fairly stereotypical role for a black man to be the pimp in this case. I mean, he doesn't dress like a pimp at least, but clearly he's serving that role here. He's got the car that we would associate with a pimp. And that's where we end this show pretty much. So let's talk about the topic of the week. We have been this week recommending black comedies and satires. Today I have one that I feel like most of my friends don't know. It's called No Man's Land. It is a 2001 war satire set in the war between Bosnia and Herzegovina. The film starts in a trench in the war and is mainly the conflict between 3 soldiers, one of whom has attached himself accidentally to a pressure-sensitive mine. It is a very, very twisted film that goes beyond the interpersonal conflicts of what war is to the systemic elements that support that war and really criticizes everything. So hey, if you're looking for a war film that will give you some stuff to chew on, check out No Man's Land. Everyone, thank you so much for watching with me. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions in the comments. Thank you so much to my top tier Patreon supporters because I hope we will get along. We will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.